Today we are covering one of the most important part of Karma Yoga. We are going to talk about 10 ways that you make karma practically. In your day-to-day life, how you are making karmas practically, we will talk about that. We are discussing Shlok 18 to 16. But before I touch on the Shlok directly, I will tell you these 10 ways on day-to-day life. In your day-to-day life, you are doing things and where you are making most of the karmas. Overall, giving a gist, in this shlok, Krishna usually talks about how this karma is a yajna. This is all a yajna and knowledge, how we do actions, and we are all part of this chakra where we have to contribute to the karma. Where previously he was saying, no one can be without doing action. So he talks about selfless actions, harmony with the nature and the society, gratitude and giving back. Krishna talks about action done selfishly creates bondage. What creates bondage? Not the action, not the karma itself. Done selfishly, that creates the bandhan, bondage. Now, human beings are also part of this cycle where they are interconnected with the system of giving and receiving. If we take and we do not give anything back, we are actually disrupting the natural order. So, when you're always taking things but you're not giving anything back, this world works on give on take. You know, someone's giving, someone's taking. Like we gave the honeybee example yesterday. She's taking pollens from there, food for herself, and then giving honey to as a return. We as humans, we are usually just taking for ourselves, for our family, for our companies, then depleting the resources, lot of other things. When we do that, we disrupt the natural order. Life operates through this circle, chakra of mutual support. You support me, I support you. When we become selfish and we only live for ourselves, you're breaking the support. Then there is the adharma starts falling, and then avatars come and they start, you know, put the dharma back in place. So today we're going to talk about practical types of karma we create daily. One is action, the actual action you're doing. For example, helping someone, stealing, feeding someone hungry, donating food, harming other person, physically hurting other person. These are all signs of physical action that you do as form of karma. Lifting something, slapping someone. So these are the things as a physical action, or supporting other person in their physical work. The second one is speech, which we always talk about from your mouth. This is where everyone makes the most karma. I will split this into further categories later to explain it to you how in day to day life you make most karmas from your speech. Enormous, actually. For example, encouraging someone is a good karma. Gossiping, lying, public humiliation, honest, giving someone honest feedback, being rude, being shrewd, all of these things, criticizing someone, these come as speech karmas that you make. And people make enormous karmas in this form. Nowadays, with social media, it's quite easy to do this. Quite easy to do this because everybody is talking on social media, so they are making this karma. The next one is, so we have covered two, action and speech. The third one is through thought. Mental intentions and tendencies that you are throwing out there. For example, jealousy, hatred, compassion, gratitude, love. Gita repeatedly points towards the importance of inner state. Always spirituality means inner state. inner what you are. On the inside, how do you feel about other person? On the outside, everybody is being nice. Someone who comes to your house who's almost going to kill you, murder you, is also nice 5 minutes back to get into your house. But on the outside, it doesn't matter. We have to check our inner state. So thoughts are the third ways you make your practical karmas. Fourth is intentions. What are your intentions? Before thoughts, there is something bhav. Before something comes to your thought, then thought to speech, speech then to action. Before that, there is a very deep rooted thing called bhav, intention. It's very quick. That intention means what do you want to do with it? Why you are doing this karma? For example, person A gives 1,000 rupees to appear generous, and person B gives 1,000 rupees to genuinely help someone. Like you go to temples, people donate money so that their name is displayed there. If you would have noticed, right? You see the name of the person, etc., etc. Subramaniam ish, so and so, or some Kapoor. The bench is given by this person, the stairs is done by this person, the tree was planted by this person. So we do this, right? That is doing for recognition. The second way of doing is gupt, hidden. That is genuinely to help, which we say just give, don't think about it. After giving, don't even think about, once out of your hand, out of your mind. Once you've given something, many people give so many things, donations, money, they go and check, is this even applied? Are people using it? It's not wrong. The thing is, once you give, it should not be yours to think. You still think it is mine. You still think it is mine even after giving it to someone. Then is not doing a karma, omission. This is another fifth time that you make a karma, is fifth type of karmas that we make, is when we fail to do some action that was actually required. You were supposed to do something, but you didn't do it. For example, seeing injustice and remaining silent, watching someone suffer which you could have helped, knowing the truth but refusing to speak because of fear or some other reason. Someone asked you, is this true? Is this wrong? But you stayed silent because you were scared or some other reason, or you didn't want to get involved. This is uh, Krishna always rejects escapism, which we talked about yesterday. Then is influential karma. This is one of the practical karmas that we all are making. Please try to understand. You are influencing other person's behavior. For example, I let's talk about A, B, and C. Okay, A person, B person, and C person. Now A knows B and C both. What A does is he gives half truth to B, manipulate B because he knows B's behavior. B starts shouting at C. Practically, you do it. In your office, let's say boss, two juniors, one junior is manipulating the boss, giving half information or giving wrong information about the other person, and he knows what boss will do to the other person, to the junior. This is influencing someone, manipulating someone, and making karma. This way, the karma, even though boss is shouting on the junior, he is also making a karma, but it's bigger for the person who is manipulating it. because he knows he can stop it. He actually instigated it. He lied, he cheated, and he made it happen. Mostly, if you say parents influencing children, leaders, it could be any leaders, spiritual leaders, or politicians, or company leaders, office leaders, wherever, leaders influencing a team, teachers influencing students. So, whatever way, influencing other person and making them to do things is come in this type of karma. Then comes in conditioning, how we change someone else's mind. Like you see how Shakuni conditioning Duryodhan, how slowly he's. Do you think Duryodhan is so smart to beat all of these people? No, he wasn't. Shakuni was the one who always, used to go and instigate, change Duryodhan's mind, make him think the other way, put some information inside of him. So, teaching the wrong things, conditioning wrong in someone else's mind, that is a ripple effect. Any karma he makes from that mental conditioning comes into you. If you are manipulating someone, that also comes to you. If you are conditioning, changing the mindset of another person, making him to do wrong things. For example, people who do jihad, nowhere it is said that Allah, God has to, you have to kill yourself and hurt other people to spread the message. It is not said that. But whoever's manipulating them, conditioning their mind, they are making bigger karma here than the ones who are actually getting influenced. Then we call collective karma, the eighth daily karmas you make. This is mostly contributing on a social pattern. For example, corruption, environmental destruction, nature pollution, all of these things that you do together collectively. It comes in charity also, good things as well. Then something you are consuming, taking without giving back. When you go to gurdwaras or you go to these free places, if you can afford to eat in a restaurant, if you can afford this, still you eat which is for someone else who is in need. It comes as a consumption karma. You shouldn't. Just donate $5, $10 or something. Donate something, then you eat, it's fine. But or do seva, either way you do something. What we do is using resources without gratitude. Even today, since morning till now, you have used so much water, electricity, food. That food you eat, it is first in some factory, someone's cooking it. From before that, someone was filtering it in some factory. Before that, some villager was actually making that food for you. It's such a big chain. Then that food comes to you. It's not just, someone brought it in 5 minutes and give it to you. Someone is cooking, before that there's processing, before that someone is growing it for you, so that you can have that one piece of chapati. You should be grateful that I'm able to eat this. Then you should be grateful about your body that you're able to digest it. There are many people who have a colostomy bag, who have, digestion issues. They cannot eat. They can only eat through some nozzle or something. There are people like this. So we should feel grateful that we can eat this food. So this comes in consumption, constantly consuming but never contributing. Never we give back. Then lastly is we're just covering the 10 ways, identity karma. This one is, you are always saying, I am superior, I am better, I am this, I am that, I am a victim, I am a failure, I am special. It could be either way, in negative ego or positive ego. These identities influence your future thoughts, emotions, and actions, and then cause the karmic movements. Now, I want to tell you speech, how you make most karmas by speech. We already talked about one example, that how you lying or manipulating one person. In social media nowadays, you see a news, you know the news may be true or wrong, correct? It couldn't be news, it could be anyone. Let's say someone else is criticizing another person on a talk show. What you do is you laugh and then you start sharing. He is gossiping on a public platform and you are sharing those gossip forward. So this way you are making a chain. The creator also made a karma, but every person who blindly spreads it is also participating in it. Very careful you understand. It's very common nowadays. See why you say Kali Yuga is less age, because fast things are happening in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, things are happening so fast that your bad karma pile-ups also happens fast. Lot of opportunities to do bad karmas. Lot of opportunity to slip. That's why they say do one mala and you'll be, going to Vaikunt and all these things people say. Is because in this kind of place where there's so much distractions, so many things to do, you choose you choose spirituality. You choose away from distractions. Then there is with your speech, how you talk to your child. How do you talk to your child? Most of the parents don't know how to talk to children. They're saying you're useless, you don't know how to do, or why you're doing this. Always correcting them. Always correcting someone leads to a negative behavior. It creates a negative cycle and the person loses its self esteem. When the child loses its self esteem, self confidence, he starts believing what he is hearing. Yes, you are a loser. Yes, I am this. Yes, I am that. His identity inside starts changing. Even if he or she is an amazing person, he's intelligent, he's smart, he can do anything. Still, with this kind of negative talk by parents or peers or family members, they start believing they are nothing. And after that, whatever they do comes as those karma. Now the office gossip. This is what all you people do in daily basis. Please listen carefully. You are making karma like this. Don't just listen Gita as a form of a book, some katha you are listening to. See what you're doing. It's a mirror. What you're doing in day to day life. You dislike someone in office. You find people who dislike someone in office. Together, you talk about that person. Then you tell your manager that I don't think this person is reliable, she or he is not a good person. Her promotion was almost there, but because of your comment and your feedback, it was stopped. Whose karma it makes in? Then, as a spiritual teacher, we are responsible for many things. As a spiritual teacher, you also make law, because by speech, your path is the only path. That is what gurus do. All spiritual leaders who are not themselves enlightened or themselves haven't reached that stage, what they say is this is the only way, there's no other way. If you want to do this. That is wrong gyan. First of all, there's no path. Second of all, it could be different for each person. Each person is on a journey. Their journey is different. Your journey is different, mine is different, your karma is different, my karma are different, behavior, nature, lot of things are not same. That does not mean what worked for you will work for me. That is alone called humbleness. When we are arrogant and in ego, we say, my way is the only way. But when you're humble, you say, there is no one way. There's no one way. So, as a spiritual leader, we end up making these karma. Then we have obviously positive things when we say to people. Silently, when you know the truth, you remain silent. That is when you are innocent, behaving innocent, that I did nothing. That is one of the biggest places where we make karma. Now, covering to what we talk about the shlok. In Shlok 9, Krishna says, work done for any purpose other than the sacrifice cause bondage. Sacrifice means selfless. Work done for any other purpose means for selfish desire, for someone else's desire, for my personal attachment. Any places, any other than the sacrifice, if the karma is done, it causes bondage, means you will be stuck into repeating. Whatever you do will come back to you. Therefore, O Arjun, perform your duties without attachment and as an offering to the divine. Do them as if you're doing for the divine itself. That I'm not doing it, this body is performing this action given to it in this given time. I have no desire, expectations to whatever come out of this karma. At the beginning of the creation, Krishna is saying, at the beginning of the creation, the Creator brought forth humanity together with the principle of sacrifice and said, by this shall you prosper. Let this be fulfiller of your worthy desires. Creator here means Brahma. He brought when humanity together. Humanity is a word which is lost now because we don't have humanity left. That is what, at least we become human. In this birth, at least we become human. Humanity means not to hurt another person. But we all constantly, what makes, see, you also have that same body, I also have that same body. Buddha also had that same body. Jesus also had the same body. What is different? Why one is worship worthy and the other one is nothing? What's the difference? Whoever realized the truth, they only said one thing: love is the only religion. Love is the only religion. Just love with full of compassion. But when we step into this, we don't realize that. Right now, you are not loving anyone. You love yourself. You want attention for yourself. So when he say the creator brought forth the humanity, this was the humanity. It comes with sacrifice. I may die, you may live. Even if I have to die for you, that is the highest sacrifice. Doesn't mean that you should not be felt important, doesn't mean you should always do the sacrifices, but you should realize it means selfless. That is why it is said mother is one of the most refined creature by God, because she is so selfless. She will die herself to save her children. Not a lot of people can do that. Nowadays, mothers also don't do that. They're quite detached from their children. Nourish the divine forces through sacrifice. Nourish the divine forces means your inner peace, that one who you truly are. It gets peace when you give something to other person. When we take, that is the mind. When we give, that is atma. That is why Devi Devtas, these, they are all givers. But many times their mind also get polluted with, ego. So nourish the divine forces through sacrifice, and those divine forces will nourish you. It will all come back to you. Within you is the power that is running this whole world. You are this powerful. Where is your energy going? Where are your thoughts going? Why are you constantly making karma and not realizing yourself? Why cannot you sit alone with yourself and see who you are? You're so scared to see your mind. You have come, see, this was the destination. You came this far. Now you have to walk back. That is what scares you. Thus, supporting one another, you shall attain the highest good. Supporting one another. What we do, we want to take other person down. If someone, your friend, your colleague, or someone, your office mate, or even your own brother is getting success, what you feel is you feel jealous. You don't feel like you should support them, or you love them, or you want to give them, wow, what a beautiful thing is happening in your life. You don't say that. Rather, you feel jealous. How will this work? If this is your feeling, many births are pending now. The divine force is nourished by sacrifice. The yagya, if you see Devi Devtas also, you need to do a yagya. You need to throw things there, sacrifice things. Here, the sacrifice is of the desires, nothing else. The yagya is of your desires. Tapasya is to be done. I don't do for me, I live for others. And will the divine forces nourished by sacrifice will grant you the enjoyments you desire. If you stop doing karma for your desires, funny thing is you start getting things that you desire. You see how this cycle works? When you are working for your desires, you barely get something. But when you leave it, everything is yours. It was always yours. But one who enjoys these gifts without offering anything in return is truly a thief. Truly a thief, because this is for this place. Things given to you are for here to enjoy and share with everyone. But we have me, mine. This is mine. My bag, my laptop, my clothes, my house. So when you are always taking these gifts and enjoying them, yet not giving anything in return, and return is what? Return is what? Giving to the society, doing for others, selfless deeds. The righteous who partake of what remains after sacrifice are freed from all the sins, but those who cook and consume only for themselves partake the sin. So, for those who are living for only for themselves, that is why it is said the single people who are not married, they should do more for the society, because they are not doing anything for their family also. If you are living for family, a father or mother is earning, doing the sacrifice for the family. Kids are doing, then they do for their own family. This way, in a family life, you are living. You are already doing sacrifices. But as a single person, you're not doing any sacrifices. You're just living for yourself. That alone, you are making karma. It's like you have $1,000 in your account, and every day you do things without giving anything back. You're just removing that amount. That amount is reducing. That's it. Every day $1 is going out. So in 999 days, it will all be finished and you have not made any new karma. So for those righteous people who are on the path of dharma, they are doing their duties. And dharma, as I talked about, is not just for your society, it's not just for your family. Dharma is for your body, dharma is for your house, dharma is for your family, your husband, wife, kids, mother-in-law, father-in-law, mother, father, then for your neighborhood, then for the nature, then for the society, then for your country. So you have a lot of dharma. What you're doing for each one of them, all of that. So the righteous man, when he does this, he's free from his sins. He's covering up his bad karmas. But a person who only takes but do not give, he's just making more sins. All beings are sustained by food. Food is produced by rain. Rain comes from sacrifice. Water has to sacrifice itself, evaporates in the sun, by the sun to get rain. So everything that is happening is with this. And sacrifice arises from action. Know that action originates from Vedas, and the Vedas arise from the imperishable reality. Therefore, all pervading divine is eternally established in sacrifice. Here, Krishna is telling that it's all the yoga. It's all yoga that is happening, nothing else. Without one doing selfless karma, they cannot do anything. One who does not follow this wheel of mutual cooperation and sacrifice and instead lives only for sensory pleasure. Please listen and understand. This is what everybody wants now. This knowledge is getting out of box. Nobody teaches this in school. Nobody is teaching this in anywhere else. So nobody knows. Moral values is also gone. I don't know what happens in schools nowadays. So if you are not following this mutual cycle of give and take, that instead you just do things for your own pleasure, which is what Kali Yuga has become. You want to eat, you want to relax, you want luxurious life, so you're cheating people. For money, people are doing literally anything nowadays. Giving fake milk, fake paneer, fake detergent, fake fruits, everything, fake content, everything is fake out there, right? You are witnessing yourself. So, all of that is fake just for money and self pleasures. You are constantly lying to people. So, for one who does not follow this mutual cooperation and sacrifice, instead lives only for its own sensory pleasure, is lives a wasted and a sinful life, Arjun. So, all who are following this pattern, they are living this wasted and sinful life, and that is when they say the avatars will come and they will kill all these people who are being selfish. Whenever women are being harassed, hurt, it's all for selfish reason. Then this happens.